Fitness trumps your insurance policy. Okay, fitness trumps your insurance policy. That's the title of today's episode. All right, let's find out why. Okay, the reason I've titled today's short episode, Fitness Trumps Your Insurance Policy, is because as we speak in the UK, Europe and the USA, health insurance policies are being cancelled or reduced quicker than they're being taken out. Okay, that might not add up. You think about it, health insurance policies, private health insurance policies in the Western world, there's an increased rate of them being cancelled indefinitely or reduced to a lower tier. But I'm talking about a fully comprehensive health insurance policy and why fitness trumps that. Fitness will always beat that. My name's Tristan Lowe, the channel's Health No Filter. I'm a professional personal trainer and sports massage therapist. I'm 55 years of age and I've been training since I was 11 years of age. Let's get into it. On the B side here, okay, I've got some facts and figures here. Private health insurance policies, these are current rates in the UK. All right, okay, so let's look at it. We've got three categories, 40, 50 and 60. So if you're 40 years of age, late 30s onwards, this is going to include you. 40, 50 and 60 per month, per 12 month, per 10-year period. Now, bearing in mind, the 12-month and 10-year period, those numbers are based on the insurance policy, the comprehensive private health insurance policy not increasing. Yeah, the price not going up with inflation and cost. These figures are based on if they stayed at this figure from now all the way up to 10 years from now. Okay, monthly figure, age 40, £69 a month, £828 a year. £828 a year, and a 10-year period, £8,280. Age 50 years and over, £92 per month, £1,104 for a year, or £11,040 for 10 years. And finally, age 60 and above, £134 a month, £1,608 a year, or £16,080 over a 10-year period. Now, those figures, they're in pounds because I'm in the UK. Yeah, equate that into your euros or work that out into your dollar rate if you're in North America, USA, Canada, Australia. But now the reason that fitness can trump that exercise and good health and nutrition and good sleep is because if you took those figures there, you know, between the age of 40, 50 and 60 and above, and you can do two things. You can not pay, cancel your insurance policy and not pay into it each month and put that money away. Put that money in a plastic box under your bed, in a steel locker, in a steel safe in your house, or put it in your current account in town if you want to earn a few pound a year interest. Okay? Then what happens, 1, 5, 10 years from now, you might need to use that health insurance policy, and it's possibly going to be 10 years from now. Even if you're 60, it might take until you're 70 before you really need it. Yeah. As a personal trainer, I train clients in their 60s and 70s and some in their 80s, and they don't at this moment in time have to depend on their health insurance policies. They depend on good sleep, exercise and nutrition. So my advice is to start investing in your health and fitness rather than a health insurance policy, which, bearing in mind, the purpose of health insurance companies is at first to get your money, and the second purpose, the second module or revenue of their business is to not pay out. Their business is to not pay out when you want to actually use the health insurance policy. And what they do invariably is they'll come up with loopholes. Some of them legal, some of them not so legal, but there's ambiguity in whichever the case. I've personally been a victim of it myself. So if you've got a healthy policy, and bearing in mind, there could be 10 pages of micro print in that health policy, you think you've read everything. But there are so many legislation changes, there's so many insurance companies that go bust, go bankrupt without actually being underwritten by somebody else, a bigger bank or a bigger building society. And if they do go bankrupt or bust, there's no guarantee you get your 1, 5, 10 years worth of savings back. They're in the business of getting you as a customer, keeping you as a customer, keeping you insured through them, and making sure their company, their CEOs, the directors and the shareholders get rich by taking your money each month through fear mongering, but equally important, by not paying out. Yeah. If you did enough research, and bearing in mind, if you do research, some of that will be shielded, and that is that health insurance companies they don't want you to stay fit and healthy. Yeah. Because if you stay fit and healthy, your mind, body, and to some degree, your soul are going to be more in tuned. And at some point, you're going to say, you know something, I'm looking after my health. I'm looking after my fitness. Or we're in the UK, we've got the NHS. I can go and see my doctor or GP or even a surgeon on the NHS. You may have to wait. If you've got a health insurance policy which will guarantee that you get life-saving operation or medical treatment straight away, that's different. What's important at that very moment is preservation of life. However, you've got to think about it as well. What is the point taking out expensive 1, 5, 10, 20 year or more health insurance policies if you don't look after your fitness or your health? If you were to take, let's go back to some of these numbers here, if I might. Let's start with the basics here. 40 years of age, 69, let's round it up, let's put a pound on it. £70 a month would get you 1, if not 2 gym memberships, depending on the type of gym you go to. There are those cheap gyms around town, all over the UK, that start at £30, £40 a month. So 69, £70 a month would get you a membership to a cheap health club or a leisure centre or a gym, I should say gym or a leisure centre, and you still have a bit of money left over. Now 50 and above at £92 a month would get you possibly 2 appointments with a personal trainer, 1 every other week, to keep you on board with your fitness and your nutrition and your flexibility and mobility. Now certainly £134 a month would get you possibly three appointments with a personal trainer. So the first 3 Mondays in every month, each year, you can go and see your trainer or your therapist, or go and see a nutritionist, and they will give you enough information and motivation to some degree, which is worth more than you putting money in somebody else's bank where there's no guarantee that you're going to get paid out. And there's no guarantee that you want to use it, because you don't want to have to rely, you don't want life-saving surgery. You don't want an illness that is so bad that you have to rely on that, because that means you're in a bad way. These are one of the things that people want to pay for, or they pay for, but they never have to actually want to use, because you don't use health insurance policies. That's on the assumption they pay out for good reasons. It's always for a bad reason. You're seriously ill. You're life-threateningly ill. You're dangerous. So if you don't exercise and you've eaten and drunk your way to obesity or poor musculoskeletal health, type 2 diabetes, coronary heart disease, poor posture, bad cardiovascular fitness, upper respiratory symptoms all the time, and you've not saved that money that you could have been putting in your health insurance policy, you're on a hiding to nothing. It's actually quite a precarious predicament to be in. You're better off living in a 2-bedroom semi-detached or a 2-bedroom mid-terraced house, and you're physically fit and healthy, rather than living in a 4-bedroom detached house but you're obese and you're unhealthy. I personally know people that will spend more money on cars and jewelry and flamboyant clothing than they will do on good nutrition and good exercise. Cancel your health policy and take that money and hide it under your bed. So if you're putting away anything between 70 to 130, 140 pound a month, you've still got that money after a year, 5 years, 10 years. And you may increase it. You may go from, you may increase it by 10% each year by what you put away. You don't have to rely on a phone call or an email to somebody in the UK or overseas telling you, I'm sorry, but your insurance policy doesn't cover this, or I'm sorry, we can only cover half of it. You've got to pay anything between, £300 and £1,000 excess first. So not only are you hospitalised and you're injured or you're ill and you're in a bad way, you've got to come up with cash instantly just to actually pay the excess that they put in those policies. You may as well save that money yourself. And if you put it in a bank account with maybe 4 or 5% interest, you're going to earn something. And that's only the assumption you need it. Remember, in the UK, You know, we've got the NHS. Overseas, there's no way. Yes, you know, people take out health policies if they've not got a national health insurance, but who's to guarantee they're going to pay out? They're in the business of not paying out, yeah? If you take that money and spend it on a sports massage therapist, a physiotherapist, a dietitian, a nutritionist, or better yet, a personal trainer, they can teach you and guide you and build enough information for you to actually look after yourself. Granted, if you go and see a dental surgeon, the dental surgeon and the hygienist will always say, okay, I'll see you again in 6 months, I'll see you again in a year. But in the meantime, brush your teeth 2 or 3 times a day. Don't brush too hard. Floss in between meals. Drink plenty of water. Lay off the sugary foods. It's what you do in between your visits to the dental surgeon that will make your dental work quicker and less expensive. So I would think you've got to say to yourself, you are your own policy. You are your own health insurance policy. Yeah? Not some guy or some girl overseas or elsewhere in the UK that is just basically hanging up on the phone or no habla. They've got poor standard of English when you want paying out. Yeah? Spend your money on nutrition, yeah, trainers and therapists, not on paperwork that won't stand you in good stead if you've not read the micro print. If you pay for a trainer, you can be sure that trainer's going to be waiting for you. You know, you're not going to get there and find out, oh, sorry, you didn't read the micro print. Dave or Lisa, the trainers, they're not here now. You've paid, but they're not here. Didn't you read the email? Didn't you get the small print? They're going to be there waiting for you. You know, if you're booking to see a nutritionist and it costs you anything between 150 to 100 to 150 pound, okay, that's maybe 1 to 3 months of insurance policies, but they could give you a nutrition, a dietitian's program, a nutrition program, and if you go above that and you go to an endocrinologist as well, you can do your blood tests and look at what nutrients your body needs, what it doesn't need. You know, there's plenty of ways to insure yourself, and that's not signing up for monthly subscriptions to pay money out to a faceless organisation, quite often overseas, yeah, when they are the sole business they don't want you claiming. If you start claiming in your policy, you've become a hindrance to them. They don't want you to do that. They want you to keep paying from the age of 30 up until the age of 80. You could pay half a century of health insurance. It adds up to a fortune of money, and there's no guarantee that you'll be around to use it. Look after your body. Don't look after shareholders for insurance companies. My name's Tristan Lowe. The channel's Health No Filter. You can catch me on Amazon, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, and all the socials. Until the next time, I don't know. Post a comment. Tell me what you think. I could perhaps learn something from you. Look after your body. Insure yourself. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Till the next one. Bye for now.